Gather round, children, and listen real close as I tell you of tales about short little ghosts, murderers, zombies who will make your skin pale. But why do I own this thing? It was on sale.
I'm done with the voice, it hurts my throat. Shrek's Thrilling Tales is a compilation of 3 Halloween-y shorts that DreamWorks released on DVD in 2012. 2 of the shorts center around characters in the Shrek universe, and the third has to do with Monsters vs. Aliens, a film I've never seen, so I might miss some references.
There's no room to hide, no time to run. The pig who cried werewolf is victim number 1.
Oh, fuck. Fuck. This short is, surprisingly enough, a Rear Window parody. I didn't think I'd see any Hitchcock representation on this children's DVD, but we'll get to that later. We open on the 3 little pigs named Heimlich, Horst, and Dieter. This is apparently the first Shrek work where they're given names, fun fact. The pigs are just getting back home from the hospital where Heimlich has been treated for a broken leg, an injury that he apparently sustained while climbing on the roof in the latest of 3 attempts to investigate his neighbors for perceived strangeness. He called CPS on the old lady who lived in the shoe when he saw her kids fixing the roof, he scared Jack and Jill, making them fall down the hill for no apparent reason, and he broke his leg because he thought the cow jumping over the moon was a UFO. As they're entering the house, their new neighbor, a wolf, is moving in next door. Heimlich is, at first, excited at the prospect until a mover drops one of the wolf's bags, revealing a bunch of knives and saws. Dieter tells Heimlich that he's not allowed to snoop on the neighbors anymore, but Heimlich ignores him and sees the wolf burying the bag through his telescope. Night falls, and Heimlich misses the wolf transforming into a lady in the light of the full moon. He does, however, see the lady dig up the bag, but when he gives the telescope to his brothers, the lady has turned back into the wolf. In an effort to prove that their brother is seeing things, the 2 pigs go over to the wolf's house. Heimlich watches as Dieter gets snatched by a pair of hands, closely followed by Horst while Heimlich tries to warn him. The lady, who is obviously a male Julia Child impersonator,
Oh my stars, another little piggy!
breaks into the house, shoves an apple into Heimlich's mouth, and wheels him over to her place. He rolls all the way to her back room where, twist, Dieter and Horst are enjoying a nice meal. When the lady catches up with them, she's the wolf again, who warns them to run away. The pigs don't listen until he turns back into the lady and tells them that the main course of the evening is
Stuffed piggies in a blanket!
The pigs run away with the wolf/lady in tow, and they assumedly run until either the sun comes up or one of them slows down. Probably Heimlich, he's in a wheelchair. But this begs the question, is a wolf that much better than the lady? I mean, the wolf seems chiller and he's warning the pigs to run away, but he's the big bad wolf, right? He's the bad guy of the story. And getting back to the Rear Window thing, who is this for? The short is little kid scary enough that it's underwhelming for adults, but what 9-year-old is gonna get a Rear Window reference? It seems a little esoteric. Anyway, moving on.
If you like that feast, if you could bear it, here's victim number 2, Night of the Living Carrot.
God, I need to stop doing that. This is the Monsters vs. Aliens short, and it's apparently the second MVA Halloween special. The first was called Monsters vs. Aliens Mutant Pumpkins from Outer Space. This seems like an unnecessary detail until you realize that this short is a direct sequel to that one. So DreamWorks is assuming that you've seen the film and 2 direct-to-DVD shorts released on separate discs 3 years apart in order to understand the continuity of the storyline. This must mean that the underlying narrative is a complicated and nuanced one that only the most dedicated viewer can appreciate.
Greetings, fellow Halloweeners. I just said wieners.
Or it just means, fuck you. Moving on. After the events of the last short, concluding with a mutant jack-o'-lantern being destroyed on top of a carrot garden, a mutant carrot sprouts. Go figure. Along comes a mass of shambling goop known as Bob. Trust me, if you don't already hate Bob based on his Seth Rogen voice and his creepy, latex-like sex doll appearance, you will hate him by the end of this short. Honestly, one of the most frustrating characters in cinema history. And by the way, he's the hero that we're supposed to root for. Bob, after getting kicked out of a Halloween party for eating all the candy, sees the carrot and, after an initial shock, he assumes that it's just a kid in an elaborate costume at the house for the costume contest. He throws him inside amongst a crowd of innocent bystanders. The carrot immediately bites one Carl Murphy, a man with children, which is not emphasized in the short but must have been a formative experience for the children, and people flee. In the chaos, a cockroach in a doctor's jacket and a baby Godzilla arrive, the former of which shoots the carrot into little pieces with a death ray. Mr. Murphy comes to, and they conclude that if you kill the carrot, anything that bites it will be cured. Then the carrot pieces start growing into individual carrots, and that piece of shit, Bob, starts blasting away at them against Dr. Cockroach's warnings. A military officer on a jetpack that the monsters seem to know shows up and is immediately overtaken and bitten. Just a completely necessary scene for this movie. They become surrounded and hole up in the house. Bob, of course, completely ruins this and tears the back door off its hinges, which allows the carrots to get back in and causes the baby Godzilla to get trapped outside and bitten. Bob and the cockroach hide in a little girl's room where one carrot is hidden, and they find out that Bob, not having a brain, is immune to the carrot's bites. The doctor, in his dying breath, tells Bob that he is the key to their survival and that he must eat all of the carrots. Cut to a tragic backstory where the jetpacking general from earlier force-fed Bob carrot puree when he was growing up. Bob opts to just run away and make friends with a handful of stuffed animals from the little girl's room, which includes Alex the lion from Madagascar, and he flees to the roof. On the roof, he sees his friends as zombies, so he decides to eat the carrots. Then he eats the carrots, but his friends are still zombies, so he concludes that he missed one carrot. But eating all the carrots made him gain a bunch of weight, which makes sense. Don't question it, it'll just make it last longer. His new girth means that he has a difficult time running after the last carrot, until the carrot waves a chocolate bar in front of his face, which motivates Bob to run after him and eat him. Then everyone, now unzombified, congratulates Bob on solving a problem that he created in the first place. That's a good feedback loop. By the way, you know when an animated movie puts like advertisements in the background, but they use parody product names, like changing Coca-Cola to Coca-Soda in the Spider-Verse? Well, in the little girl's room, there's two posters in the background. One for a boy band and the other for a girl group. And they didn't use existing bands. You know what they used? Boy band and girl group. And if that's not emblematic of the effort they put into this narrative, then I don't know what is.
That was a bad one, but wait till you see an even worse movie, Victim number 3.
The last short of the DVD is Lord Farquaad's Ghost, and it is terrible. I'm not going to even give a full plot summary because there's no plot. Actually, there is a plot. I'll give it here. Lord Farquaad's Ghost hires Thelonious to steal Princess Fiona on her and Shrek's honeymoon, and Shrek chases them all the way to Farquaad's grave, where the giant dragon on his grave chases them. They're saved by the real dragon after Donkey calls her. They fly away to a waterfall where they save the princess. That's the whole story. You may be saying, that sounds like there would be some conflict there in the chase or at the waterfall or something. There is, and the dragon saves all of it. Not any of the three main characters, just the dragon. The dragon saves the princess. The dragon kills the ghost with fire somehow. The dragon's the only one who does anything. This short is really a weird one. It kind of plays out like a video game QuickTime event intercut with short cutscenes. There's some of these made for 3D shots of someone dangling something in front of the camera or jumping towards you, but this is a 2D DVD that had no theatrical release to my knowledge. It's all really jarring and makes no sense at all. The cherry on top is the nonsensical continuity. This is Shrek and Fiona's honeymoon, so we can assume the day after or a few days after the wedding. We know from the first movie that Farquaad was killed at the wedding, so how the fuck was that giant-ass grave built in that amount of time? How has Farquaad already concocted a plot, hired Thelonious, set up the raft at the waterfall? How has this all been planned? Has he been planning this since he was alive? Was dying part of this plan? This all implies that Lord Farquaad was basically an evil mastermind on par with the Joker for this whole series, even though he was a comical villain whose defining characteristic was that he was short and was abandoned after the first of 7 installments. Anyway, here are the rankings of the 3 films. In last place, obviously, was The Ghost of Lord Farquaad. Complete trash and an obvious lack of effort on the part of the writing and production team. A waste of time. Second place, I'm going to give it to Night of the Living Carrots. Not a good short by any stretch, but it wasn't as insulting. It was a little insulting, but it wasn't as insulting. And the winner for this collection of shorts is The Pig Who Cried Werewolf. I wasn't expecting it to be that good, but I guess not relying on characters with established canons and using horror motifs in a children's setting is more effective than shitty puns breaking up the tension.
And that's it for today. Shrek's Thrilling Tales was a waste of time, but that's just my opinion. Or is it?